Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during questions and interviews with the state of Texas. If you cannot afford a lawyer, the lawyer will be appointed to represent you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On September 12th, 2024, officer was traveling westbound on the South Sam Houston Parkway, a public roadway in Harris County, Texas, when the officer observed a stopped car in the third moving lane of traffic with its lights off. The officer found the driver to be asleep in the driver's seat and made contact with the driver, waking him up with his flashlight. The officer observed him to be confused, unable to unlock his door, and upon opening the door, the officer observed glassy eyes, slurred speech, and the odor of an alcoholic beverage emitting from the defendant's person. The defendant admitted to coming from a party where he had been drinking. The officer detained the defendant and relocated the scene to a nearby parking lot for scene safety. The defendant consented to standard field sobriety test, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 8 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. Defendant was read the DIC and consented to breath. The defendant blew a 0.167 and a 0.168. Defendant found to be on bond for DWI out of Fort Bend County from 2024.
What? He's on bond right now for another DWI?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, hell no.
Leave on, Your Honor. It looks like it may have been disposed. I'll check.
Please.
There's no disposition known in the NTSC, so I don't know. It's just open. I can see if I can find out.
Is your DWI currently open in Montgomery County?
Or in Fort Bend County.
Or Fort Bend County?
Yes.
They gave you a PR bond in this case. I'm taking away your PR bond, sir. I'm taking you into custody now. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm taking away your privilege to drive and I'm giving you a curfew so you're not out in the middle of the night, and I'm going to put an ankle monitor on you. If I find that you're out in the middle of the night or you consume alcohol, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you either get in a car and drive or consume alcohol. I will have a hearing. If they prove it to me, I will slap you with 180 days. And if you continue to consume alcohol, I will put you in a rehab facility. If I find that you drive a car, then I'll put you in jail for up to 6 months every time you drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Don't send him down, please, because I'm going to need him to sign a whole host of conditions.
Mr. Thompson stood all the way up for me.
You know, Mr. It's Thomas, right?
Thompson.
Thompson, Mr. Thompson, we were talking about you, so it's only fair that you hear what's going on. You know, it seems that you had a pretty sweetheart deal, it looks like, in Fort Bend, and now all that has gone through the tubes. I've known him for a long time. I've known him for at least 20 years. Great working relationship, and I love the way it works. And he's asking me to either give you a PR bond or a low bond. And I'm thinking to myself, why would I do that? Because you do whatever you're going to do, and you don't care what anybody else says. Why would we bend over backwards to help someone like that? Why? Just because you're sorry? Actions speak louder than words. You telling me sorry, you telling me I'm never going to do this again. We heard that before. And where we are now. Tell me what you would like.
Judge, I'd like you to consider a $500 surety bond. He's already on $6,000 in misdemeanor bonds and complying with those conditions. I'm not saying he was complying, but I'm saying now he's going forward complying with conditions. And he can only operate now a vehicle with an interlock device, and your condition right now says no driving. I'd like to address that, but on the amount of bond, if you would consider, he makes $300 a week. He works for his dad. They do driving things. They
No, you don't.
well, he's a courier, He wasn't a courier this night in question. Okay, so
So,
then,
go ahead.
so you have that tool, it sounds like, they're driving. He lives with his grandmother, he has some bills, and he makes about $1,200 a month. Right now, he's spent what he has, and he has to reach out to other family members for any kind of assistance. So he has a good family, they're certainly want to help, but they don't have a lot of means either. And he's going to have to deal with Fort Bend now in a way that he's probably gonna hopefully get a straight probation out there and work something out here in some form or fashion at some expedition point. I mean, there's some issues in this case, but
Mr. Thompson, I want you to understand that when I have someone that comes into my court with multiple DWIs, I usually set bonds somewhere in the neighborhood of around $15,000 to $20,000, if not higher. That's what I normally do. When someone has 2 open DWIs, I always take their privilege to drive away from me. Why would we put and endanger the streets of Harris County when you have repeatedly shown that you failed to care about any bond conditions? You've repeatedly shown it. So I'm sorry, Troy, I'm not gonna let him drive. He's got 2 open DWIs. Not only that, but I don't want him out in the middle of the night. I'm going to give you a curfew. And I'm going to, on one ankle, I'm going to put a scram ankle monitor so I know that you're not consuming alcohol. On your other ankle, you're going to get a GPS monitor so I know that you're not out in the middle of the night. And I'm going to tell you now, if I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail every time you drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Hopefully now we will get your attention. And to me, if you think that you're going to garner any sympathy because you live with grandma or they make $300 a day, nope. Luckily, no one was really injured, because then you would really be up Shisa Creek. And then you'd really be in custody with bonds.
That warning from the judge, that's not casual. When a judge says there's a fine line between advocacy and unethical conduct, that's judicial code for you're skating on very thin ice. Question for you. Where should that line be drawn when a lawyer believes the system itself is unfair?
In the quadruple to quintuple digits. Do you understand? I can't, because $500 is something that we give to someone on usually a first offense. I have another guy here with another DWI, a $500 bond. Someone who has 3 open cases, 2 of them being very dangerous cases, I can't possibly do that. And I'm going to tell you, quite frankly, you're lucky that it's now only at $5,000, because ask them. I always set it at $15,000 to $20,000 on a second DWI. So if you now get a taste of jail, perhaps that's what it needs. I will say this, Troy, that I will waive the fee on all of his devices that he's going to have, because that'll save him a pretty penny right there. I'm waiving all your fees, which right now, garnering everything that I have on you now, is probably going to be around, $1,200 to $1,500 a month in fees that I'm waiving. So, and because so, I will not entertain any excuses from you. Do you understand? All right. Good luck. You got it. Thank you. Joseph.